Exposed, the 17 illegal drugs changing lives in America. Alright folks, welcome. I'm Samuel, and we're about to pull the curtain back on something heavy, something that's tearing through the fabric of our society. These drugs are changing lives, and ending them. Know the truth before it's too late. This isn't some far-off problem, it's right here, right now, in our backyards, in our schools, affecting people you wouldn't even suspect. America is battling a quiet war, not with guns, but with chemicals. These 17 drugs are flooding our streets, and each comes with a price, some deadly. It's a silent epidemic, man, a creeping shadow that's got its claws into so many. So, let's get into it. First up, we've got fentanyl. Man, this stuff is in a league of its own when it comes to danger. Fentanyl, just 2 milligrams can kill. It's 50 times stronger than heroin. It's cheap, fast, and often fatal. Think about that for a second. 2 milligrams, that's like a few grains of salt. That's all it takes to potentially end someone's life. It's a synthetic opioid, originally developed for severe pain management, like for cancer patients who are in excruciating pain. Next, let's talk about heroin. This one's an old demon, been around for a long time, wrecking lives for generations. Heroin brings a rush like no other, then chains you in a cycle of pain and withdrawal. It's an opioid derived from morphine, a natural substance taken from the seed pod of the opium poppy. People usually inject it, snort it, or smoke it. The initial rush is incredibly intense, a wave of pleasure and euphoria that users say is unlike anything else. It's a warm blanket, a complete escape from reality, from pain, from whatever demons they're trying to outrun. But that escape is a trap, a cruel illusion. Alright, let's shift gears to cocaine. This is a different kind of beast, a powerful stimulant that's glamorized in movies and music, but the reality is far from glamorous. Cocaine makes you feel like a king, until your heart gives out. It's extracted from coca leaves, primarily grown in South America. People usually snort it as a powder or smoke it in its rock form known as crack cocaine. The appeal is that immediate, intense burst of energy, euphoria, and supreme confidence. You feel like you're on top of the world, like you can do anything. Your mind races, you're talkative, you don't need sleep, you don't need food. Chapter 4, Methamphetamine or Meth, the Internal Destroyer. Now we get to methamphetamine or meth. This stuff is just pure chemical evil, man. Meth destroys from the inside out, physically and mentally. It hooks fast and hits hard. It's a synthetic stimulant, cooked up in clandestine labs with a nasty cocktail of corrosive chemicals, stuff like battery acid, drain cleaner, antifreeze. Just think about putting that into your body. It can be smoked, snorted, injected, or taken orally. The high is a powerful rush of euphoria, increased alertness, and energy that can last for hours, much longer than cocaine. That extended high is part of what makes it so addictive. Chapter 5. MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy or Molly, the deceptive embrace. Let's talk about MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy or Molly. This one often gets a softer reputation, associated with parties, music festivals, and feelings of love and connection. Ecstasy feels like love in a pill. But what goes up must come down. It's a synthetic drug that acts as both a stimulant and a psychedelic, producing feelings of increased energy, pleasure, emotional warmth, and distorted sensory and time perception. People take it to feel more open, more connected to others, to enhance their sensory experiences. It floods the brain with serotonin, the feel-good chemical. Chapter 6, LSD or acid, the mind's unpredictable journey. Alright, now we venture into the realm of classic hallucinogens with LSD or acid. Hallucinogens like LSD and mushrooms alter your mind, not always for the better. Lysergic acid diethylamide is an incredibly potent psychedelic. We're talking micrograms, man, tiny amounts that can send you on a trip lasting 8 to 12 hours, sometimes longer. It's usually sold on blotter paper, in liquid form, or as gelatin squares. The effects are primarily psychological, altering perception, thought, and mood in profound ways. Users report vivid visual hallucinations, synesthesia, like seeing sounds or hearing colors, a distorted sense of time, and often intense spiritual or philosophical insights. Continuing with hallucinogens, let's look at psilocybin, the active compound in so-called magic mushrooms. Hallucinogens like LSD and mushrooms alter your mind, not always for the better. These fungi have been used for centuries in various cultural and spiritual rituals. Like LSD, Psilocybin induces altered states of consciousness, visual and auditory hallucinations, and changes in perception. The experience or trip can be deeply introspective, sometimes leading to feelings of euphoria, connection with nature, or profound personal insights. The intensity and duration depend on the species of mushroom, the dosage, and the individual's mindset and environment, what's often called set and setting. Next on the list is ketamine. This one's interesting because it has legitimate medical uses, but it's also heavily abused on the street. Used in hospitals, abused in alleys. Ketamine and PCP distort reality dangerously. Ketamine is a dissociative anesthetic. In hospitals, it's used for starting and maintaining anesthesia, and more recently, it's shown promise in treating severe depression under strict medical supervision. It works by making patients feel detached from their pain and environment. On the street, it's known as Special K, or Kit Kat, and people take it for its hallucinogenic and dissociative effects, that feeling of being separated from your body, often described as a K-hole. Now let's talk about PCP, or phencyclidine, also known as angel dust. This is another dissociative drug, originally developed as an anesthetic, but its use was discontinued due to the severe side effects. Used in hospitals, abused in alleys. Ketamine and PCP distort reality dangerously. PCP is notorious for its unpredictable and often violent effects. It can be snorted, smoked, injected, or swallowed, and its effects can last for hours. Users experience a profound detachment from reality, hallucinations, distorted sensory perceptions, and a feeling of invulnerability or superhuman strength. This perceived invulnerability, combined with agitation, paranoia, and disorganized thinking, can lead to incredibly bizarre and dangerous behavior. Let's move on to a category of substances that are often overlooked but incredibly dangerous, especially for younger people. Inhalants. GHB, synthetic weed, inhalants, fast highs with deadly lows. This isn't a single drug, but a broad range of volatile substances found in common household and industrial products. Things like spray paints, glues, gasoline, cleaning fluids, nitrous oxide, also known as whippets. People inhale the vapors to get a quick, intoxicating effect. The high is usually short-lived, characterized by euphoria, dizziness, slurred speech, and a lack of coordination, kind of similar to alcohol intoxication. But the dangers are immense and can be immediate. Sudden sniffing death syndrome is a real thing, man. A single session of inhaling can cause fatal heart failure or suffocation. Because these are chemical solvents and gases, they can do serious damage to the brain, liver, kidneys, and bone marrow. Next up are synthetic cannabinoids, often sold under names like spice, K2, or synthetic marijuana. GHB, synthetic weed inhalants, fast highs with deadly lows. These are man-made chemicals that are sprayed onto dried, shredded plant material so they can be smoked, or they're sold as liquids to be vaporized and inhaled. They're designed to mimic the effects of THC, the main psychoactive compound in marijuana, by binding to the same cannabinoid receptors in the brain. The problem is, these synthetic compounds are often much more potent and produce far more unpredictable and dangerous effects than natural cannabis. Users might experience elevated mood and relaxation similar to marijuana, but they can also suffer from severe anxiety, paranoia, hallucinations, rapid heart rate, vomiting, violent behavior, and suicidal thoughts. Now let's discuss GHB, or gamma-hydroxybutyrate. GHB, synthetic weed inhalants, fast highs with deadly lows. GHB is a central nervous system depressant. It occurs naturally in the brain in small amounts, but the synthetic version is what's abused. It comes as a colorless, odorless liquid or a white powder, and it's often associated with the club scene and, alarmingly, as a date rape drug because it can be easily slipped into drinks and can cause amnesia and incapacitation. At lower doses, users might feel euphoria, increased sociability, and enhanced libido. This is what draws some people to it recreationally. However, the line between a recreational dose and a dangerous overdose is incredibly fine with GHB. Alright, let's tackle bath salts, or more accurately, synthetic cathinones. Bath salts can make you violent. DMT sends you out of body. Neither brings peace. These have nothing to do with the stuff you put in your bathtub, man. These are dangerous synthetic stimulants, chemically similar to cathinone, a substance found in the khat plant, They're usually sold as a white or brown crystalline powder and marketed with deceptive names to avoid legal detection. People typically snort, inject, smoke, or swallow them. Now for something quite different, DMT or dimethyltryptamine. Bath salts can make you violent. DMT sends you out of body. Neither brings peace. DMT is a powerful psychedelic compound found naturally in many plants and animals, and even in trace amounts in the human brain, though its function there isn't fully understood. It's often called the spirit molecule because of the intense, short-lived but profoundly reality-altering experiences it can induce. It's typically smoked or vaporized, and the effects come on almost instantly, peaking within minutes and lasting for maybe 15 to 30 minutes in total. Users describe being catapulted into other dimensions, encountering entities or beings, experiencing complex geometric visuals, and having out-of-body experiences. Chapter 15. Ayahuasca, the vine of the soul's sacred peril. Let's talk about ayahuasca. Spiritual to some, illegal to most. These plants can also open mental doors you're not ready for. This is a psychoactive brew traditionally used by indigenous peoples in the Amazon basin for spiritual and healing purposes. It's typically made by brewing the Banisteriopsis kaapi vine with other plants containing DMT, like Psychotria viridis. The vine contains MAO inhibitors, which allow the DMT to be orally active and produce a much longer-lasting psychedelic experience, usually several hours. Ayahuasca ceremonies are often guided by a shaman and involve ritual, chanting, and a focus on inner healing and spiritual exploration. Chapter 16. Mescaline, peyote, the desert's ancient teacher. Next we have mescaline, the primary psychoactive compound found in the peyote cactus. Spiritual to some, illegal to most. These plants can also open mental doors you're not ready for. Like psilocybin and ayahuasca, peyote has a long history of use in indigenous spiritual and religious ceremonies, particularly by Native American tribes in Mexico and the southwestern United States. The effects are hallucinogenic, altering perception, thought, and mood, often leading to vivid visual patterns, a distorted sense of time, and deep introspection. A mescaline trip can last for 10 to 12 hours. For members of the Native American Church, peyote is a sacred sacrament, a way to connect with the Creator and receive spiritual guidance. Chapter 17. Kratom, the legal leaf's hidden hook. Finally, let's look at kratom. Kratom is still legal in many states, but abuse leads to addiction, just like opioids. Kratom is a tropical tree native to Southeast Asia, and its leaves contain compounds that can have psychoactive effects. It's often sold as a powder, in capsules, or brewed as a tea. Depending on the dose, kratom can act as a stimulant, providing energy and alertness, or at higher doses, it can have sedative and pain-relieving effects, similar to opioids. This is because its active compounds, mitragynine and 7-hydroxymetragynine, interact with opioid receptors in the brain. Many people use kratom for self-treating pain, anxiety, depression, or even to help wean themselves off opioids. Outroad the path forward, knowledge, compassion, action. So, there you have it, 17 substances that are profoundly impacting lives across America. It's a heavy topic, I know, but looking away isn't going to solve anything. The reality is this quiet war with chemicals is being fought every single day, in every community. The first step in any battle is understanding the terrain, understanding the enemy, and that's what we've tried to do here today, to shed some light, to provide some clarity on what these drugs are and what they do. It's not just about the substances themselves, it's about the people caught in their grip, the families torn apart, the potential lost. This isn't just a drug user problem, it's a human problem. It requires empathy, compassion, and a commitment to finding real solutions, better education, accessible treatment, mental health support, and a willingness to have these tough conversations. Please comment, like, and subscribe to support our mission and stay informed.